Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. Good morning to you. You know, it's so funny. I called Rose yesterday and she sang me my good morning song. Rose been paying attention. She's been paying attention. Today, I want to talk about the healing process. The healing process. But before I talk about the healing process, I want to talk about the hearing process, the paying attention process. I'm waiting on some of you guys to get here because the people I need to talk to about hearing and paying attention. Hearing and paying attention. And what's that other process? The self-obsessed process. Good morning, Erica. Did you finish the book last night, Erica? You know you done. Don't lie. You know you finished the whole book. Good morning, Adrian. Good morning, Karen. So we have started reading a book called Cast. Blah 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 blah. Something I don't remember the rest of the title. But it is a very informative book, very good. I've only gotten through three chapters of it, and I love the book. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Suli. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So if anybody, Adrian, if you're interested in joining the book club meetings that we have Thursdays at 8 o'clock. Adrian, I think you're on my same time zone. It's 8 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock Central, and 5 o'clock California, Pacific time. Anyway, let me know if you want to join. It's a really good book, really good book. So today I want to talk. So what I wanted to talk about were these people who don't know how to pay attention. I said I would not be on Thursday because I have an appointment, and Stace trifling tail talking about, oh, we didn't agree to that. I liked your response, Suli. How can you not agree to her having an appointment? Right. Excuse me, people. Oh, you're on Central. Okay. So then it's 7 o'clock your time. So today I wanted to talk about the healing process because I posted something on my page and I don't remember who I grabbed it from. I don't remember who I grabbed it from, but it talks about how I recognize healing in myself, and not just me, but the subject of the meme was self, right? So we recognize healing. I recognize healing when I start being able to sit with myself and not be uncomfortable. To be able to, I find myself often now sitting with no TV, no music, no nothing, just sitting and knitting or reading or sitting at the computer with no side noise, no background noise, nothing else going on. And this is the first time I believe in my life that I have actually been able to just sit comfortably in silence. Silence has usually not been comfortable for me. And I would say, oh, no, I don't want to sit in silence. We need to be talking. Why are we riding in the car together? We're not talking. I'm perfectly comfortable sitting in silence. Now, good morning, T. Good morning. And then Tobiah put on his page something about crying. That crying, when you cry, it's not weak or something. I don't remember the exact words, but crying is not a sign of weakness. And so this morning, I want to talk about the healing process. The healing process. We have a lot that we need to heal from, and we are oftentimes healing from multiple things at the same time. It's not just one thing. Life doesn't just give you one thing at a time to deal with. He didn't agree to you skipping a day, come back from your meeting, and then tea time. No, I couldn't. So let's talk about the healing process. So I went online. I'm looking at what Silence is a precious friend of mine. Silence has never been my friend, Erica. Silence has been so uncomfortable for me. If you're sitting in silence, then you're really sitting with yourself. your own thoughts. And if you have negative thoughts or stress, that rises up in the silence. Whereas if you've always got all of these things going on around you, noise around you, the noise is a distraction from your own stress, right? So I looked up some things about the healing process so we could talk about the healing process. And I came across a page that talked about 3 different steps to healing. But first, let's talk about I want to just go through, there's multiple stages, and you can look at a lot of different psychologists and writers, and they'll give you some people will say there's 5 stages of grief. Some people will say there's 7 or 8 stages of grief. But the point is that, my point is that you don't necessarily move through the stages consecutively. You move all around. So if the stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, you don't necessarily move smoothly from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You tend to go denial and then bargaining and then anger and then depression and then acceptance and then back to denial and then back to bargaining and then back to acceptance. I mean, you tend to move all over the place until you finally end at acceptance. Acceptance, I would say, is the end, right? But how you get to that end, you move all over. You can sit in quiet time now because you talk every day and you are out of Maybe I'm out of stuff to say. I don't want to hear anything else. Maybe I talk it all out in the morning. But not true, because I would usually still be on the phone calling somebody. I would wake up. The first thing I would do every morning is wake up and pick up the phone and call somebody. It's like I didn't want to give my mind time to start thinking about all of the things that I need to be dealing with. So from first thing in the morning until I go to sleep, something or someone is distracting me from my own thoughts. Not anymore, though. Anyway, so we have to take steps towards healing, and there's a lot that we're healing from right now, and some of it has nothing to do with us. I mean, we all just watched the Breonna Taylor verdict yesterday, and the cops are not being indicted for her murder, and that's going to require some healing on our part, right? And it's nothing to do personally or directly with us, but yet it still gives us pain. It still puts us in a place of despair sometimes, right? It could easily dig in our heels more deeply into the despair, into the exhaustion, into everything else. Yes, it is exhausting. It is very exhausting to be entertained all day long, right? And at the end of the day, I'm tired and still haven't dealt with anything I needed to deal with. Not anymore. Anyway, so as we're looking to heal from various things in our life, from childhood trauma, from relationship trauma, from over and over again relationship trauma, from issues with our children, from workplace trauma, any type of trauma that we're dealing with, historical racism, historical discrimination, systemic discrimination, systemic racism, all of this that we are looking to heal from. Issues with our parents, issues with our siblings, just anything that we're looking to heal from, we all have to start at a place, right? And that starting place is to get clear on what happened. Get clear on what the issue is, what is causing your emotional pain. And you may have several things causing emotional pain, so get clear on one thing at a time, right? Deal with one thing at a time. Don't overload yourself. Get clear on what happened. Describe the situation. You might want to journal it. You might want to take some time to sit with yourself and just think about it. You don't have to. I'm not telling you to sit down and write it all out, in perfect prose. No, sit with it. Get clear on what happened. Get clear on how you felt about it. Facts. Why is it upsetting to you? How you felt about it and why it's upsetting to you. And make sure that you're basing your thoughts and how you're moving through getting clear 100% on reality. Not on what you thought could have, should have, would have been, but 100% on the reality of what was, right? And then don't overanalyze it. Y'all see, I took notes. See, I'm reading my notes. It's a notes day, right? Don't overanalyze it. Try to distract or try to justify the facts. You're just looking at the facts. You're not at this point trying to justify why you did, what you said, what they did, why they did what they did. You are only trying to understand, get the facts. That's step one. It's kind of like, you can't deal with your alcoholism if you don't know you're an alcoholic, right? Get clear on what happened. The next thing you need to do is validate your feelings. Okay, so you were hurt. Anybody in your situation, anybody dealing with that situation would have been hurt. So being hurt is logical. It makes sense. You are not wrong for having been hurt. You were hurt. You feel hurt. Fine. No problem. That's what anybody would feel. I remember when I was going through a tough time, one of my girlfriends kept on telling me, Kai, anybody in your situation would feel the same way. You're not going crazy. It is normal for you to be upset this way. It is normal for these to be your thoughts. If those were not your thoughts, if you were not upset by this, I would worry about you more. It's normal. Validate how you feel. Accept that how you feel is valid. Don't beat yourself up for it. And do what you need to do. Like Tobias said, cry it out. Crying is cleansing. If you need to cry, cry. That's right. Being hurt is a valid emotion. It is, right? If you need to cry, cry. Cry it out. Cry till your ears. Cry till your eyes swell up. Shake, dance, journal, yell if you need to. Don't yell at anybody though, because that, it's probably not very productive, not helpful. Remind yourself again that anyone in your situation would feel the same way. And then when I read this part, I thought about myself. I've thought about myself through all of it, but scared or upset, we tend to stunt our capacity to feel so we don't feel uncomfortable. So you have all these people walking around acting like things don't hurt them, things don't bother them. They bother. They're bothered by things, but they have stunted their capacity to feel so that they are not uncomfortable. I'm guilty. I'm realizing it as I'm reading this that I am guilty of that. I don't want to be uncomfortable, so I don't want to be in this situation where I really have to deal with my emotions because dealing with my emotions is uncomfortable. But guess what happens? When you stunt your capacity to feel, your body feels it anyway. You don't stop feeling. You just hold it, and all of that stress and tension lingers in your body. And maybe that feeds into the headaches and the stomach aches and the back aches and the foot aches and the hip aches and the exhaustion, the fatigue. You think you fatigued because you didn't get any sleep? No, you're fatigued because you haven't dealt with your emotional pain. Because you have stunted your capacity to feel so that you are not uncomfortable anymore. You think that your body hurts because you had an accident when you were 19. No, your body hurts half because you refuse to cry. You refuse to cleanse. Good morning, Bernadette. You have to, and listen, I'm preaching to myself. I am preaching to myself. I read that and I was like, ugh. How many times have you, I don't know about you, so I don't even want to ask. I refuse to cry. I bought into the big girls don't cry mess, right? I bought into that. Whether you speak it out or not, you feel the anxiety before you articulate it. Right. And if you never learn to articulate it, you end up having an asthma attack, being at the emergency room talking about I can't breathe. You end up with eczema. You end up with rash. You end up with hives. You end up with back pain, stomach pain, gastrointestinal issues. We carry, Suli, I think you said it on one of your Airborne videos. Our stomachs have endorphins. Endorphins? Want to make sure I'm using the right word. Yeah, I think it's endorphins. Is it endorphins? Am I thinking of the right thing? Anyway, our stomach, we can feel the same type of emotional pain that we feel mentally, we can feel in our stomachs. So if you don't treat your gut right, your mental health won't be right. Your overall physical health won't be right. But if you don't treat your mental health right, your gut health won't be right. It's connected. Our bodies are connected. We're not just running around with all these different parts that don't actually speak to each other, right? You carry that anxiety around inside of you, whether you decide to speak your truth about your emotions or not. How many times have you bit your tongue like, I'm not even going to talk about this because it's pointless? 80% of our immune system comes from our gut. Yeah, endorphins. Thank you. Thank you. I was wanting to make sure it was the right word, right? The right element. Thank you, Suli. And today I'm going to be sitting with this. Being emotional is something that many of us are taught is a sign of weakness. Crying, a sign of weakness. Maybe we should see it as a sign of strength. If you are able to release your emotional tension through tears, through conversation, through through journaling, that is a strength that not a lot of people have. It is absolutely not a weakness. It is cleansing to get it out. You're cleansing your body. You're cleansing. Good morning, Stace. Good morning. You are cleansing your mind, body, and soul by dealing with your emotional pain. So we have the 3 steps. We haven't gotten to step 3. Step 3 is determine a course of correction. My mother would always say, follow your gut. Now we know what she meant. Right. She wasn't talking about eat some more. She wasn't talking about go where the food is good. The mental food, right? The mental food is good too. Determine a course of correction. Good morning, Steve. You late, Steve. You late. How you going to show up late, no tardy slip? Everybody else on here knows to say tardy slip. I got to get back to there. We got to get back to the tardy slip lecture. Determine a course of correction, and understand this, that even though you may determine a course of correction, maybe your job is not the right job for you. Maybe your job is causing you a lot of stress, and there's a valid reason for why it's causing you a lot of stress, and maybe you need to move on from that job. Maybe you need to understand that job is not getting ready to miss you when you're gone in reality. So there's no sense in you dying right there at your desk. You might as well just get up and go someplace else where you might be better appreciated. I've done it. I can testify. You feel much better. Maybe that's your course of correction. So determine what your course of correction is and work your course of correction. Maybe to deal with your emotional pain, you just need to cry it out, write it out, and let it go. Maybe there's nothing that you can do with the person who is causing not person. Let me take that back. I'm not saying someone else has caused you pain. We've all dealt with fools in our life, but we have to decide how we have shown up in that situation, right? And only take accountability for the way we have shown up in that situation. So maybe when I've shown up in a situation and someone else did not show up to my liking, I don't need to go back to that person and explain to them, express to them, help them understand how they did not show up to my liking. It doesn't matter. I just need to set myself on a different course. And I need to maybe just put that aside. I need to let that rest. I need to examine what part I played. Maybe I lingered around for too long at the job, in the relationship. Maybe I fussed and fought with my children for too long about minor things. I need to check myself. What was I going through? What was on my mind? Okay, what? Steve, you're nocturnally absent. Okay, I'm not really sure I even understand what that means. You have to determine what your course of correction is, but your course of correction, I just want to say, for me, doesn't really need to include anybody else. It's only your personal course of correcting yourself. So your course of correction doesn't need to include going off to tell somebody off because they did you wrong. That's not a course of correction. That's not healing. That's just causing more strife. Are you saying what to Steve? Because I hope you're saying what to Steve, because all of us need to be saying what to Steve. What the hell, man? Determine your course of correction and understand that only you are correcting you. You correcting your emotional pain has nothing to do with what someone else will or will not do. So your pain can still be healed regardless of whether the other person recognizes how they did you wrong and how that contributed to your pain. You don't need to seek closure in that respect. Your closure is personal, private, and self-inflicted closure, right? Self-closure. I'm going to close this chapter in my book. I'm going to close this chapter of longing for someone who doesn't want me. I'm going to close this chapter of longing for a relationship with my parents that they're not willing to give me because of their own issues, because they are crossing boundaries that they should not be crossing. I'm going to let go of this job that doesn't appreciate me, and I'm going to move on. I don't need to go tell off my parents. I don't need to go tell off the person who did me wrong. I don't need to go tell off anybody. I don't need to enlighten anyone else. I only need to enlighten myself. Self first. Too often we give people and situations power over how we feel. Right. Exactly. And we need to take that power back because we need to heal ourselves so that we can be a whole self in every new situation that we are going into. We have to heal ourselves now. And trust me that if you don't heal the past or the present, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now, you won't be able to deal with the future. And trust me, there will be crap in your future too. So you have to work through, so that right now, today, I am healed. I am healed. And how do I recognize healing in myself? How do you recognize healing in yourself? Or do you even recognize the need to heal? And if you recognize the need to heal, what are you doing towards that? What are you doing towards moving towards a fully healed? Because I would argue that just like the stages of grief, right, that kind of go back and forth, you kind of move all over the map until you finally get there. And if you've ever lost someone, so grieve a death of someone, right? You know that even though you accept the death, a year later on the anniversary, there may still be a little bit of frustration, a little bit of anger, a little bit of depression. 5 years later, you may miss your dad, you may miss your mom, you may miss your cousin, you may miss your best friend. You accept it, but you may revisit the pain ever so often. A song may remind you of the pain. So just like that comes up, pops up, your emotional healing is a continual thing. You have to make a continuous effort towards being healed and staying healed and healing, right? Never get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Never get comfortable with being uncomfortable. No, I wouldn't agree with that. I actually think we need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, Tobiah. I don't know how you mean it, but if in this respect, I think you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because if you allow yourself to be uncomfortable, then you work through that discomfort. But if you don't allow yourself to be uncomfortable, then you never deal with the discomfort. So maybe in a twisted kind of way, we're saying the same thing, and I'm just not understanding your intention there. Maybe we're saying the same thing, but I would say that don't avoid discomfort. Don't avoid being uncomfortable. Dive right on into it. I'm telling you what I have not been able to do my whole entire life. So dive into it head first, whether you can swim or not. Whew. Go into it. Don't stay uncomfortable, but figure out why you are uncomfortable. Don't stay uncomfortable, but figure out why you're uncomfortable so you can get beyond it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think maybe that's what I think we're basically saying the same thing. Yeah, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable, but not comfortable staying uncomfortable. How about we say it that way? A few years ago, I was accused of taking a large sum of money and other lies that many people believe. This was caused by one person to make them look like the victim. I'm still trying to heal and find closure. But you know what, Karen? You know whether you took that money or not. So you have to find closure in it just with yourself. You have to recognize the people who created that lie about you. You have to recognize that they are the ones that have issues, and you have to not take those issues and let them embody those issues, right? You have to just leave their issues on the outside of the door. Don't let those issues come into your house being your full body, right? Your mind, body, and soul. Don't let their issues overtake you. I understand, though, it could be painful. It could be painful when someone sets you up that way and accuses you of being someone that you're not. You have to get to the point where you recognize that that's their issue and not yours. And you have to heal from the pain that caused you. And it's a difficult journey, I know. Maybe we don't get complacent being in a negative space that impacts you negatively. Yeah. That was redundant. Sorry. What? Maybe don't get complacent being in a negative space that impacts you. No, I don't. I don't think that's redundant. I get it. If we don't dig up the root of a poison tree, we keep bearing bad fruit. Oh, I like that. We need to make that. We need to put that with some pretty colors and post it on Facebook. The thing is, you have to be capable. Let's see, hold on. I had that happen before. You talking about what Karen had happen to her, Bernadette? Look, I had it happen when I was in high school, right? I almost went to fighting somebody over them accusing me of stealing something. Like, hold on, I don't steal. That's not something I do. You gonna still accuse me of stealing something? Looking to steal a large sum of money. Look, whoever is out here stealing large sums of money, I'm gonna need y'all to get some for me too. Oh, Karen, I'm going to assume that you're not living large. So if somebody out here accusing you of stealing a large sum of money, what the hell did you do with it? Like, how much sense does that even make? What did I do with this large sum of money that you think I stole? Did I take some elaborate vacation? Did I go buy some grand house? Am I out here living large? What did I do with the money? It has always been the guilt trip that people try to put on us. Stace, you and me too, brother. Look, I tell you what, like I said, I'm not looking to steal it because I don't steal, but I will accept what you steal. As long as you don't tell me you stole it, just tell me it's a gift. Side note, I had somebody offer me a stolen computer one time. I was like, I didn't know it was stolen at first, but they were like, you can have this laptop card for $75. But just don't ever take it into Microsoft. I'm like, what? Yeah, you can't ever take it to Microsoft or contact Microsoft if you have any issues with it. I was like, yeah, I'm good. No, I don't want any stolen property. If you steal it and don't tell me you stole it, that's one thing. I have a watch that somebody gave me, and I haven't worn that watch. I got this watch at least 10 years ago. I haven't worn that watch because I'm not sure how they came about it, and it's still sitting on my dresser. It's a Rolex. I don't know how you got that Rolex, so I ain't put it on my wrist yet. Anyway, I understand that, but I have lost friends and family over this. Considering I lived in another state, nobody wants to hear my side. You know what, Karen? But those friends and family are people that just need to stay lost in. You can't. And I know we don't have a lot of time to really go in depth with your situation, but what I mean is, at a certain point, you have to just allow that this is the dysfunction of that friend relationship or that family relationship. If you guys believed what this person said about me and you don't want to know where I stand, you don't want to hear my side of this story, this was a dysfunctional relationship in the first place. And it has to be something I let go. You can't let it eat away at you. That's the point. You have to let that go so that it doesn't eat away at you. Yes, I ran into one of them a few years later and was like, wow, really? Keep it moving. You get a million, you get a million. Thank you. Thank you, Stace. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Looking out for the community. Let's get us all some money. And we will bail you out when you go to jail with the money that you got us. Good night, Sharman. Have a good day. Have a good night. Yeah, Sharman works nights right now, so she's about to go to bed. Anyway, guys, we have to work on our healing process. A friend once told me that those who know you know better than to believe the lies. So let them go. Exactly. See, Karen, listen to your Auntie Lane. They thought I was sending my girl to college. She went to a school where you work to pay for college. You know what, Karen? Folks will want to bring you down when you were doing what you were supposed to be doing. It's always going to be ugly in your life. Always going to be ugly in your life. The question is, do you let ugly control your life? Or do you look ugly in the face and will keep on stepping? Book them all, Dano. That's all right. Dano can book everybody else, but we don't have any money for you, Steve. What happened to the men sticking together? You're supposed to be helping them out. You're supposed to be driving a getaway car so Stace can bring the money to the table. But I don't bail people out of jail for real, though, so don't go get arrested. Anyway, guys, we have to work on our healing process. It's really important right now. It's always important. I've let go of a lot of family and friends because they didn't value me. That's right. That's right. And it's hard. Stay strong in who you know you are. It's hard. And sometimes other people accusing you of stuff will make you question who you are. Eventually, whether you believe what they say, you know whether you took it or not, right? You know that. But sometimes we start to let all of the naysaying get to us and have us question ourselves. So when you question yourself, it's okay, question yourself, but I'm going to need you to come up with the right answers. You can let the naysaying have you start questioning, who am I? Where are my values? Where's my strength? Do I have strength of character? What kind of person am I? But you better come up with some positive answers. Don't let them control who you are. You know who you are. You might ask yourself every now and then, who am I? But I hope you have the right answers. Don't let them be the ones to control what your answers are. They were already on my shit list, but it still hurts. We got to let go of that pain, Karen. So that's your healing process right now. So you need to work through, get clear on what happened, why it upset you. Make sure that that your feelings and your understanding is based on reality. Don't overanalyze or distract or justify the facts. You have to validate your feelings and then determine your own personal course of action. And the personal course of action is for you to feel better. It's not worrying about how they feel or what they think. Your course of action has nothing to do with convincing them that what they're saying is a lie. That's not what you need to do. You just need to be okay with you. That's it. So you need to determine the course of action so that you are okay with you, right? Healing. We are all doing it every single day. And it is an effort that we make every single day. And if it's not an effort that you're making every day, you need to start trying to make it every day. Or maybe you fully healed from everything. And then in that case, kudos to you, because the rest of us haven't. Who's going to raise their hand? Elaine, you done healed from everything, I'm sure. Me, I've healed from everything. I have no problems. They may all be dead now, Karen. I don't think they're all dead now. You guys have a wonderful, glorious day. We will be back here tomorrow. Same time. Always our weekend time is at noon. Celebrate the victories, the successes of the positive things you have done that further your family. Right. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose. Always keeping me on time. Thank you. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Keep your distance. Focus on your healing. Focus on your healing. Have a wonderful, glorious day, guys. I'll see you here tomorrow.